The best part of your week is about to begin. This is the time where we talk shop, swap stories, and share lessons from our wild adventures in the creative industry. With each and every lovingly crafted episode, we strive to bottle that magic, warm, electric feeling you get after coffee with a new friend or attending a fantastic breakout session at a creative conference. You might start as strangers, but you'll leave as friends. Buckle up, settle in, and get ready for this episode of Making a Mark. Hello and welcome to another episode of Making a Mark, the show where we bring creators on and ask them one big question and goof off a lot and completely change the recipe of the show every few weeks. I am joined, as always, by Ashley, Dashley, Bebop, Pope Ashley, Ulmer.
Hey,
How you doing
how's it
today,
going?
homie?
That reminds me of those when you're younger, elementary school games or whatever. They're like, who has their hand in the cookie jar or whatever. So Ashley has her hand. Like whenever you're like, that's how you're like, Bebop, well, Ashley. Like mine was always like a hard one too, because there's like nothing that rhymes with it.
Bring those rhyme problems. Send them my way. I'll make a rhyme out of it.
Yeah.
We'll invent some words to make it happen. Well,
How's it
your dog
going?
doing? I know that it's good. The true ocean of fans that we have was disappointed that you had to go pick up your dog last week.
Oh,
Is
it was
everybody
they
checked
could
out
they
okay?
could wait. I'm sorry, the ocean of fans could wait because this little guy legitimately, like I could talk about him my whole podcast. Like he's amazing to me because he's the first puppy in my entire life that has been so chill. Like he's like the chillest dog.
Oh,
And he is
what?
the sweetest little boy. He's so cute. Oh my gosh. I'm just obsessed with him.
Man,
But yes, his name is
that's
DC.
wonderful for you.
I know.
What
He's
up,
just
DC?
I know.
Please tell me his middle name is Talk.
No.
DC Talk.
So
Ulmer.
we have Marvel, we have two other dogs, but one of them's named Marvel. So we got DC. And but we actually call him Dave. So his name's the boys named him Dave Cheddar. So DC. So but we call him Dave, but his real name's DC. Dave Cheddar. Ulmer.
I like that. I'm a big fan of naming dogs human names and naming kids animal names. That's my go-to maneuver. Like if it sounds like a good hunting dog name, like that's what I'm going to name a child.
Yeah.
And then
totally.
I have a fish named Walter, and I did not get to name our dog, but she could have been something really like Margaret or something like really good to go.
Yeah. Totally.
Anyway, as much as everyone is dying to hear what we think about animals and how we named them, we've got a great guest today.
I'm so excited.
Who is joining us?
Is there an owl in the house? What's up? What is that?
Ashley, I feel like another check-in segment we have on the show is how fried is Josh? Oh, Josh, is your mic set to happen? Oh, thank you for letting me know. This is exactly the sort of thing that makes me so angry.
See, that's my buddy Jared. Thank you for being here. You're awesome.
Jared, you
were
100% right. I was using my headphones, not my mic, which always makes me sad when I listen back to the episode later.
Oh my gosh,
totally is it better now?
The funny thing is I would have never ever noticed that, but then now that you changed it, I could totally notice. But audio stuff, I literally have no clue. Like if it sounds bad, I'm like, oh, that sounds fine. But yes, thank you.
This sounds
Jared.
like Velvet Dreams. Yes. Adam West.
Totally.
No, you're right. We have no technical. I am the fallback technical support for this podcast, and I don't know and don't usually care. And so you get what you get at the Making a Mark show.
Totally.
Yeah, Ashley. So new segment of the show. How fried is Josh on this Friday?
Can I guess the number? Can I
Yeah. Please guess how many fried eggs Josh is.
You almost said it. So now I feel like that was kind of like a cheat, but I would say you were going to say like a 5. You were you had that in there. So I think it's a 5 out of 10.
Out of what?
Out of
Oh no,
6.
I was going to say
5 out of 6. 3.
13
30.
out of 10.
Oh, 13. Okay.
Yeah,
I was way off. Yeah. Me too. This has been a really crazy week. I'm not going to lie. Running in, starting the show today, literally, I didn't do anything until 2 minutes before. I mean, that's not unusual, but still, I'm like, what are we talking about today? What is going on? What is happening right now? I don't even know. But oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're all running by the seat of our pants over here today. Josh
For real.
part of Team Crispy. Yeah, Crispy Boys with the nice mic. We've got another Crispy girl joining us here shortly. Ashley, do you want to? Who? I asked you who we have, and then you made fun of the owl, and then
because you said it like 12 times, like who. Who we have today is our friend Tiffany Kelly.
Whoa!
Yay! And she's from The Honest
Tiffany
Pixel.
Kelly.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, so good to be here. I'm so excited to talk about all the graphic design things and to chat with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here, and thanks for this was a last minute thing, so we're really thankful that you were able to come on, and we've been wanting to have you on anyway, so that's perfect. So thank you for being here.
Exactly.
Well, judging how fried both of you guys are, maybe y'all need naps or something. We'll just do like a group nap.
We'll just give the show to you
through our work samples for a little bit.
That's next episode is take a nap with Making a Mark, and we just have some
and all of our viewers have to actually go do it
in the background. Everybody goes and lays down. You just see us in the background live streaming a nap. Well,
it'd be the most productive.
Well, hey, sometimes I've said it once. I said 1,000 times. I'm a big believer in an 8-minute nap, and it's backed by military research. It's actually a thing they do in the Navy is teach you how to take an 8-minute nap. So anytime you're just like everybody shuts down in different ways, but you're like physically kind of in pain because of how tired you are.
Yes, sorry.
There's a thing you can do. No, you're good. I was just like realizing how workaholic-y I sound right now. Like, there's like bad tired, and then there's painful tired. Once you get to that zone, let me walk you through your tips to get back to functional. So yeah, you lay on the floor, and if possible, you prop your feet up so that here, I'll show you your feet like go on the couch like this, and then you lay back flat so like the blood's flowing a bit better. You set a little
I'm just gonna say that visual was like so unnecessary because like we definitely knew what you meant when you said put your feet up. Like you didn't have to show us. Like
well, for our podcast audience, Ashley, can you please describe what just happened? Because they might be lost. They might be in the dark right now and trying to take notes.
Sure. So, okay, guys. So just for, the people who can't see, Josh turned to the right and he lifted both of his legs up as if to put them on the couch and to get blood flow to his brain, I suppose. So thanks for that, Josh. That was productive. But all I got to say is naps. I am not a nap girl. Like if I take a nap, I'm out for the rest of the day. I cannot do a power nap. Like if I can't do naps. Like it's hard for me to turn my brain off.
Just give it a smooth whirl.
I can't unless it's like a really, really long day. But other than that, it's not my thing. Can't do it.
Tiff, are you pro or anti naps?
My husband is like Ash. He can't do. It makes him feel more bad to take a nap, which I get. Sometimes that's my experience too, but mostly pro.
This is the problem. You can't go bundle up in your bed and zonk out for 2.5 hours. That ain't it.
Yeah.
We're talking a power nap for the real achievers in life, because you wake up and this is the sign that it was the right kind of nap. Your toes tingle a little bit and you just feel this new zest of life. And what you've done basically is your machine's running slow, your MacBook or whatever, and you power that puppy down and turn it back on. And it's like, oh, cool. I had a little reset, got all the bad vibes out, and now I'm awake and ready to rumble.
Yeah. No, I'm not a nap girl. My husband definitely is. He loves naps. He's a nap guy. Power naps for sure, but not here.
Well, I don't know. Is he a power napper or is he just a snooze napper? I don't know. We're really getting down to the weeds.
Depends.
I would love to look through some of our
naps and puppies.
We're going to ask naps and pups. We're going to bring up Tiffany's Instagram. If you guys aren't already, go follow Tiffany Kelly Creative. One of the super cool things to me that stood out about Tiffany is she does graphic stuff like the rest of us, or many of us that do this show. And then she also does spatial branding and interior design stuff, which is something that I'm like an armchair interior decorator. That stuff is interesting to me. I don't have any chops in it. I enjoy it. I read books on it. I watch people on it. But she out here doing the real deal. And this stuff is super sick. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Man, I'm a big fan of this. Ashley, what did you want to pull up?
Right there. So the green, the moss up the moss.
Oh, the moss.
Green moss.
That
I
one.
had a feeling.
I'm
Duh, 'cause
interested
it's
because I
sick.
can see it behind you, so I
Yeah.
want to talk about it.
Yeah. I've been wanting to build that for a while since I kind of set up this workspace over here in my living room, which is just in my living room because I like the view the most from here
Same.
out to this
Same.
park across the street from our house. So yeah, so we have this little section of wall that I've always thought, let's do a moss. So I've done pieces like this. I used to work for a church for 11 years before I started doing freelance a year ago. And I've done pieces like this for my church for an Easter or a Christmas install or some kind of event where I've used moss. I think I've done a moss and this flexible LED neon strip before, but then I've used the neon strip for other things as well. So I kind of knew how to do it, but every project is kind of like a learning.
Is that real
and
moss or is
figuring.
it a little fake?
It's called preserved moss. So it's a natural product, but it's dried first and then colored.
Right.
So like if you go to Michael's and you see the really, bright magenta type, it's just because they've dyed all of this.
Sure.
So they say that it
Okay.
actually, and I'll give you a little tip that actually I think you see in this video is don't buy it online because it'll already be a little bit more dried.
Oh, sure.
So this stuff only lasts about, I think they say like 5 to 10 years. And then it just starts getting a little crunchy, a little bit brown and dry. But if
Oh.
it's been in a warehouse, like if you don't see it on a shelf and it's
knows?
nice and bright and green, then don't buy it.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Man,
Michael's is the
pro
way to go.
tips already 12 minutes into the episode.
Buy your
And
moss
We learned
from
how to take
reindeer
a nap.
moss.
We learned where to buy
Yeah.
moss.
I'm sure because you live in Florida, correct?
Yes.
That the humidity there will help it even last longer
Oh yeah, I'll bet.
as well. 'Cause,
Unfortunately, I hate the humidity.
yeah. See, like if I had that moss thing here in New Mexico, literally that thing would dry out probably in a month because it's
Yeah.
so dry here. But yeah,
You're probably
that's
right
so
because it kind
cool.
of feels like spongy, like it has some
Mhm.
not moisture, but like it's not dry and brittle yet when you
Yeah.
pull it out of the bag.
That's so cool. I love it. I love that
Thanks.
you took the time to do that too. Like it's cool.
Well, it's been a year
Yeah.
in that I wanted to do this. And I still haven't done it yet until like a month ago. So
Yeah, that's
been
cool.
that great. Thanks.
Wait, so you've only been doing the Honest Pixel for a year now?
Yeah. A year in March. So about a year and a month. Yeah.
Yo, congrats.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Has it
It's
been
been
going
super
good so
fun.
far?
It has been going really well. I feel like I've been very fortunate to have been staying busy. I definitely haven't found the trick to the feast or famine way of life. I feel like I'm either very, very busy and got 3 inquiries today about a new project, or I don't hear anything for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I've been, I have some strategies for that. I wait until, those famine times to like write a blog or, do some stuff in my business. But yeah, I've been pretty fortunate to stay busy and to kind of have some people, mostly people that I know and people that I kind of know that I know,
Yeah.
a couple steps removed hiring me so far. And that's been a blast. So
Yeah. Well, I will say, because I've been doing this for, owning businesses and stuff, but design itself, like being a freelancer for the last 15 years. And it's always like that. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, there'll be like days and weeks where it's so many people are flooding in. And then they'll so for instance, last week for me, there was like a ton of new inquiries, ton of sales. This week, nothing. So it just like depends on the week. I don't know. It's real and a lot. And I think you'll start to notice too, as you keep going, that you'll notice different trends throughout the year, but throughout seasons and also times of the week. So like for me, my biggest sales week, obviously I could see this in my sales like overall, but is Mondays and Tuesdays. Like for whatever reason, my clients love to get stuff done on Monday, Tuesdays, and then the rest of the week, it's usually pretty slow. So it just depends. And it's always right around the first of the month too. So it just kind of depends.
That
so
makes sense.
that ebb and flow.
I would
definitely
assume
happens
the
a lot.
start of the month thing is like budgets are opening back up. Like they spend all their money on the thing and they got, more stuff come in or whatever. Now they're ready to
Yeah.
Same
buy
thing
the
with end of
thing.
year too. End of the year, a lot of times that happens too.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, it's probably easy to get used to for me because I was working at a big church on their creative team for 11 years before doing this. And that's always how it is on church staff. I wouldn't say famine, but just feast all the time, like projects coming and then the next project's coming. So you just kind of always have these like ups and downs of, the next busy season, and they're
Cool.
always related to, I think sometimes day of the week, but sometimes season, obviously, like Christmas and Easter and things like that,
Sure.
conferences and stuff. So
All right, I'm
I'm
going to say
trying to get
something
used to it.
terrible here. No, I'm not even
Go
going to
for
say it,
it.
actually.
No,
No, you have to
say it
now. You can't get away with it now.
I love Jesus and I love what these holidays represent, but from a business flow standpoint, I hate Easter and Christmas because what it ends up doing is you get crunched up stuff where like everybody needs everything. You take a month of work and crunch it into 2 weeks. And then on the flip side of that, everybody is checked out. And I was ready for it, and I was thinking about it for Christmas, was not thinking about it or anticipating it for Easter. But I noticed like, oh shoot, like it went from like just like it was like crickets in like a single week. And I was like, oh, everybody's thinking about Easter right now. And it wasn't even like I was still having calls, but people weren't even paying their invoices or like nothing. I'm like, what the crap? And I was thinking back, I was like, oh yeah, like, this is the same thing except a little bit lesser degree. Like spring break and Easter kind of fell similar in certain parts of the country, and so everybody's back in the saddle and rolling again.
Yeah.
But I was just like,
It is
can't everything
interesting.
just always be normal? The kids are just always in school.
Yeah.
There are no holidays. We all just work constantly. That's Josh's dream world.
Right. It is interesting though, like how throughout the year and the seasons there are different ebb and flows, and not only just for the creative industry. So, like for instance, I'm friends like here locally with a lot of small business owners. Like there's different shops or makeup artists or things like that. Not, I mean, creative-esque, but not like designers. And same thing, and it may even be here just like in our region, but for whatever reason, right after Christmas all the way until about March is dead. Like nobody, like everybody's super slow with everything. And also like
weird.
they call New Mexico, it's perfect for your hat actually, Josh. They call us the land of mañana because we're all very much like put it off. Yeah, type of thing. But yeah, every year, same thing. Like I hear from business owners here locally, and my girlfriends and stuff, they're always like, it's so dead. And everybody's like, should we still do this or should we sell the business? Like everybody freaks out at the beginning of the year, and it's like, no, just chill out, just wait like a couple weeks and it'll be fine again. But I don't know I don't know. Do you guys experience
horrendous.
that? Do you guys experience that? Like at the first of the year?
To a significantly lesser degree. Okay, so I would say first of the year, yeah. Like every Christmas, I'm geared up and like, okay, gotta like pre-sell a bunch of work to do. And then everybody tails off and disappears. And then what I always forget, or at least I did this year, is oh yeah, sales don't pick back up again until mid-late January. And basically I've gone like a month without like landing anywhere near normal work, and so you're like, you get in hardcore panic mode 2 weeks into January, and then it all gets normal again, and then February is insane, and then we're fine until Easter, and then so I don't know.
Then Easter's insane, and then it just starts all over again. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny. But
All right.
So what I want to ask you this, Tiffany. So you said that you do so what did you call it? Spatial
branding. Yeah.
Spatial branding. So like interior design. So that would be more so like kind of like building, like, so I guess that's my question. Like, what does that
Describe
mean?
it.
Spatial,
Yeah.
what does that mean? Because my guess would be like almost like set design. Like, so like for instance, like a service, you would be the one who would set up the stage. And is it that kind of design?
Sometimes it can be something like that. That's a temporary thing for an event, but most of the time, go ahead, Josh.
Well, I was going to say spatial. It's like space stuff, right? Like you're making
Yes,
rockets.
space, yeah.
Like you're getting ready for...
So usually...
Space Force.
Usually I describe it as kind of a mix between interior design and graphic design. And I have a background in architecture. That's what my degree is in.
Cool.
So anything... I've just kind of accidentally, while working at that church for a while, ended up with a lot of projects that were like a custom build or a photo spot or like redesigning a room. And so I ended up doing that a little bit more and more. So it's graphic design. Some people call it environmental graphic design. Some people call it spatial storytelling.
I like that name.
But it's graphic design for interior and exterior spaces. So usually it includes wall graphics, murals, feature walls, things like that.
Sure.
Signage for interior and exterior signage. Sometimes kids theming for like churches, for kids check-in spaces. And then sometimes it can also go into a little bit more into an interior design category where it's also like selecting fixtures and finishes and furniture
Sure.
and paint colors and all of that. So
Cool.
one of my first clients was a company who does this for churches, interior design and graphics and theming for churches, and I've kind of gotten really interested in that. So
Cool.
it's been
And
super fun.
as far as those clients, are you only working in the church world? Well, actually, even just in general, like with your business, is your main like bread and butter church world, or do you work with businesses and individuals for any sort of like design stuff, even for their homes and stuff?
I don't really do within the home because I call it spatial branding, because I really do like to take the branding, and just like you would take somebody's brand and logo and brand assets and identity and interpret it into their packaging and their tone of voice and all those things that encompass the branding. I like to make sure and include and think of a space as that.
Yeah.
So I've done coffee shops.
Cool.
So I really kind of think of the branding as being the catalyst for that and the graphic design. So I don't do homes, but a lot of my some of my clients are churches, some are small businesses. I do logo design as well. So I end up having some connections with small businesses and nonprofits.
That's a great upsell and super unique too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I've actually so I grew up, my mom, she's been an interior designer since I was young, but she does homes. And so like her main business now is she's a real estate stager. So she like stages homes to be for sale. But yeah, so I've always loved, obviously like interior design as far as like the home space. But it's interesting though, like you're literally living sort of the dream that I had when I was like a young kid. So when I was in middle school, literally my dream job was to be a set designer, like for movies. So like being the one who builds all the sets and stuff, or like stage design and stuff like that. That was my dream. And I never pursued that, but you're kind of living it a little bit. So
you can do it. Let's chat more about how to transition into designing some spaces.
Yeah.
It's super fun. I actually used to, back in the church world, when I was on a church staff, I was leading their Christmas project most years.
Sure.
And so that included a lot of the temporary like Christmas installs. So it'd be banners or decorations, and there's definitely a decoration piece to that. So since I've been gone, they've hired me back last Christmas, and a couple of the guys on the team were kind of like, we don't know how to decorate. And I'm like, well, but it's just theming. It's just graphic design, but for 3D. Yeah. But I understand
it's just job security is what it is.
Yeah, true. That is, I'm not complaining. It was super fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
The sad thing about it to me is that it's a little bit like an in-person thing. Like, I feel like you could become like... Yeah. If this is something you want to do, like the it girl for like interior setup for, and like churches across America want Tiffany for Christmas install, and then you're like, cool, I've got to fly to 7 cities in November, honey. Can you buy all the kids Christmas presents? Like, that's kind of that's a little bit sadder than doing graphics, but it's so fulfilling and cool and different. And like you were saying before, like you've got a logo project that you're done with, and if you wanted to flex into that as an option, or like, that's just so much more interesting to me than
I was going to say, if you wanted to expand into that option, and that would kind of tie us into what Josh is doing on his screen.
Look at her go. Look at her go.
So for the visually impaired, so the people who cannot see us right now, or the listeners, Josh is expounding some logos on his screen right now. So are you building out, like, is this the like final, like, I guess brand guide
final file prep, baby?
Nice. Yep. Okay, cool.
And I thought it was an appropriate task to be doing. I know we haven't talked about our topic at all, but we were talking about like how to like land the plane on projects and get approval on things. And I'd actually be really curious to hear how that works with like interior design install stuff, because all the things that have remotely been like that type of project for me, I am the on the decision making team and the designer. So like I'm both sides of
Mm,
it. So I haven't had
Yeah.
to deal like I've had to sell logos and stuff plenty of times like other design work, but I haven't had to like truly sell any type of decorating or space setup or furniture purposes for other people.
Or
yeah.
really even like if you you know present this beautiful project to the client, what if they don't like it? It's not like you could just do control Z. Like you have to like physically
Mm.
rebuild everything. Like, or do you guys
Yeah.
like when you're doing something, is the planning stages like so detailed so that when you build it out, that's it? Like that's what they get? Or do you ever have to go back and be like, oh, sorry, we gotta rebuild this or
Oops,
repaint this or
see,
whatever?
all that moss died for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think like any other project, it would be a change order. It would be an additional quote if they wanted a change because they approve. So yeah, I'll just walk you through the steps of it because it really is similar to some of my process through other graphic design um, projects because I always present a couple of options for, and really wall graphics, wall decals, signage, which is all graphic design. And then like the materials, the fixtures and finishes are kind of usually sort of a side piece to that, but presenting designs for wall graphics and signage, it's just like any other project where I'm usually presenting options and then they're choosing one and maybe with some revisions. And in a quote, there's revision, and in terms of service, there's revisions listed, how many they get. If
Right.
they go over, that's great. Then you're going to pay the extra for the over.
Pay me.
And uh and then so I've struggled a little bit just with being new and everything. So back in my church job, I was the one designing it and sometimes helping make the decision and then sometimes building it and usually installing it. Even at a job where I was on staff for 11 years, this is still complicated. I feel like during installs, people would
course.
give me all kinds of questions about why are you drilling a hole there? Well, because I have to. And I would be careful about that, but it still seemed like there was always a lot that you're up against of just, it has to be safe and it has to last and it has to have a budget. There's just so much complication of
Mhm.
the implementation, the execution of it. So when
Yeah.
I started this business, I kind of thought, I like building things, but I don't want to do that for other people. It was hard enough while I was on the staff doing that.
Sure.
So I end the process at handing over files. And what I usually do is I hand over
Interesting.
any designs for wall graphics, and print companies can print and install wall graphics, and they can
Okay.
print
Mhm.
and
Then you
install
don't have to
signage.
travel.
And yeah, and so I've done that for clients out of state. And then other things like fixtures or finishes or like a custom build, I'm providing links of selections, and usually I give a backup in case something is sold out or they don't like it or whatever.
Sure.
And then I'm giving sketches because I have the background in architecture. Anybody on your church staff who can build, a kiosk for a check-in or whatever can take my sketch, and I have dimensions and I have labels and you know exactly how to build
That's
it.
so sick.
So that's worked out really well. I've never had anybody but we're only a year in and these projects take a while. So I have some
Sure.
projects I've worked on that aren't yet installed.
Sure.
But for the handful that are in churches, especially, I've never had anybody after the fact be like, oh, this didn't work out. Can
Yeah,
you
yeah.
redo it?
Sure.
So it's
Because
worked
that would
out.
be a massive
Well, I would
endeavor. Yeah.
assume that most issues don't come like while it's after it's done. They're like they see the first thing or they see a rendering or actually what is your
Yeah.
like first what things do clients get to see from you to like get check-in or notes or whatever? Like
Yeah,
how does
that's a
that
good
process
question
work?
because I meant to mention that I do. So usually I do a flat design of anything that's designed in Illustrator or whatever, of just with the wall graphic or the signage options. But I'm always mocking it up in the space, just like we're providing mock-ups. If you're doing a logo project, you might provide a mock-up of the logo on a t-shirt or a business card. And I
Are you
think
doing
with
that just in like
spaces,
Photoshop or is that
Mhm.
like some kind of like AutoCAD deal?
I probably could do either SketchUp or AutoCAD to really build a 3D model and place them
Mhm.
in, but mostly I do
That's just so
Photoshop.
much money.
Yeah. SketchUp, I believe, is free. AutoCAD is super expensive.
Well, I was actually even just thinking like how much time it takes to
Time,
recreate
yeah.
someone's space. Like that's
Yeah, true.
gobs of time that they're just like, so they can sniff check something.
Yeah. And it does take a lot of time to Photoshop the different designs into a photo of somebody's space, especially if the space is still under construction because the photos aren't
Sure.
complete. But, you know, they're not photorealistic. They're mock-ups. So there's some forgiveness level there, but it's
Sure.
so helpful for them to see. And you put scale figures of an actual picture of a person in there. So they're visualizing how big is this going to be? What is going to be in place of this? When I have a full lobby or when I have a full hallway, what's going to be seen, what's going to be in the way, this door swing is going to be in the way of that. So that's covering up. So it really helps to give them, and I don't do 3D mock-ups of every area that I'm designing for, but like the key ones, the most important
Sure.
ones.
Sure.
And it does take a lot of time. So those projects are usually higher ticket items, higher prices.
Sure.
Big bucks.
Yeah, big bucks.
That's so cool. That's so awesome.
That
Yeah.
seems
It's
like
really fun.
something like my brain always, and this is, I don't know if this is.
Can I just
cool or
say what
not.
my brain is doing right now? Literally, like, Josh, I don't know how you're talking and working because
I
I'm
know.
like so distracted by what you're doing. I can't even like focus on what you guys are talking about. Like, I'm watching, like, I'm not gonna lie, when it get like I literally for a second like got irked because the way you the way you scale things, like, it's so crazy to me. Like, you like grab it and you grab it from the middle point.
Oh,
Like,
wow,
that's
yeah.
so weird to me. Like that you
What
do that.
middle point like that?
Like that. Like that. I always grab the corners. Yeah. Like, because like I don't know, I've always done the corners. I never do the middle points. Like I like, I don't know why. I guess I just am scared to. But that whenever I saw you do that, I was like, whoa, what is he doing? No.
This psychopath over here grabbing the middle anchor points.
It's
Wrong
actually
with
really
this
enlightening seeing
Yeah.
someone else use Illustrator. Like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, so I'm
Oh,
like,
you're going
okay.
there? What's that palette?
Yeah. What is going
That's
on?
that is something that's interesting to me, is like whether you actually like grasp any like it. I've watched enough other like smart people go live before that you're like, you could watch somebody for an hour and say, I didn't learn anything, but that was interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there are no new tricks for me, but like, oh, I wouldn't have thought to do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
because like we all do this like for a ton of hours of our life, but rarely do you watch somebody in the mess like doing
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Do you
So,
guys
yeah.
follow or do you see the Instagram account of I think his name is James Barnard, so it's Barnard Co.
Yeah, the
at
lettering
Barnard Co.
dude.
He's not lettering, he does logo
Oh.
design and does a lot of Illustrator tutorial, but like super easy, you know, 1 minute, like super quick, sometimes even shorter, of just those little dumb things of like pulling on using the middle point to scale your object. Hey, did you know that you could do this? And it's been so
Listen,
time saving, like learning those little tips.
Here's my thing: is I'm just bad at tutorials. I'm bad at making them. I'm bad at finding them and remembering them when it's time to like. How do we do that thing? Like I saw like I'll save them on Instagram every time. I'm like, oh yeah, great. Let's write this down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when it comes time to like, what was that thing again? I don't know. I got to get back to work.
Yeah.
And
Me
then
too.
when it comes time to make a tutorial video, I'm just like, this is the saddest, most boring experience of my life. I hate it. So yeah, I'm just that ain't my cup of tea, but I do
Yeah.
enjoy them and definitely see the value in them.
Yeah, for sure. I love a good tutorial.
Tutorial.
I
Yeah.
obviously, but see, I can't watch a tutorial and work because then I would just lose all train of thought and be like I'm just like intrigued by watching the screen right now. I
Right.
can't even focus.
Probably
this is
everyone
something-
is.
Let us
So-
know in the comments, except for the podcast listeners. I'll probably just upload this one straight to Spotify, like with the video piece of it.
Yeah.
But if you're watching this before, live, during, after, whatever, and you're like, hey, this is kind of like a Zen experience of like listening to them talk shop and then also watching anything at all happening on screen.
Yeah.
Let us know if you like that or if it's giving you like just ADHD out the wazoo and we need
Oh.
to.
Yeah, it's
Calm
my
down a bit. It's
ADHD
messing
is
with you a little
going out
bit.
of control. Yeah, I can't even. I'm like, what is going on? No, but and even like that just now, like how you like just literally clicked on the items and did your artboards that way. Like I've done that before, but that is like so foreign to me. Like what I would do is I would build the artboards first and then place everything
No.
and then duplicate
No.
all of them.
That is another way to do it. That is
Yeah.
another way. Like
Like
make your
duplicate
one
'em.
color set and then copy them all
Yeah,
down.
and then just copy that. Yeah, exactly.
I've done, depending on how complicated the things are to click, I will do it that way sometimes too.
yeah, yeah.
But we were talking about this last week, Ashley, about like the export buddy from like the Affinity Designs or whatever.
Yeah.
And how do you make a tool that's faster than what I just did? Like, unless it reads minds or is another human doing it. Like, I don't know how to get much more streamlined than what you just saw.
Right. Yeah, that was super quick. I don't know. I don't like those extra things. I feel like anytime I try to use those things, they slow everything down. So I'm like, I don't know. I just do it the way I do it, I guess. But
I love it.
Interesting. But
Bryce says he's watching me work in Illustrator, not getting his work done in Illustrator now.
Right. I'm sure everyone is.
This is
let's all just sit quietly.
This is the big secret is Josh is behind on work and I'm just using this time to get stuff done. That's what's really happening here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. I will say one of the logos, again, if you're not watching, then you're just going to be out of luck. But one of the logos you had in there reminds me of a shirt that I had. I remember specifically in 5th grade. It looks like same colors, same kind of font, everything. And it was a Roxy. Do you remember that brand Roxy?
Yeah.
It was one of those. But anyway, so let's talk real quick about what you're doing. So this is a youth group, obviously, Expand Youth.
Yeah.
Tell us
they actually, on our mood meeting, they toted out an old Roxy t-shirt and they said, we snuck into Ashley's house and stole this. And
okay. I thought
please use this as the seed for.
I thought you were serious that they seriously brought that shirt out, and I was like, what are the chances? Like, that's crazy.
Man, very weird. Ashley is my friend. Please return her property to her. But yeah, I can make you some logos that look like her old shirt.
Yeah, no, I specifically remember that shirt. I don't remember a lot of shirts I had, but I remember that shirt because this mean boy at elementary school made fun of me for wearing it. And that's why I always remember. But I used to love it. I thought it was the coolest thing. But
what a freaking turd.
That's all that matters. You loved it.
That's all that matters. You know what I mean? Oh man. But yeah, so tell us about Expand Youth, Josh.
So this is a logo for a youth group. That's all I have to say. No, I'm just kidding.
Great.
No, they've been great, and they wanted. This is after I just shut it all down. They wanted it. It's always so fun being in the mood meeting. Like the notes that you read after it sound like a crazy person wrote it. Like that one was, I think that one of the notes we get is like, okay, what if Skrillex lived in like 1984?
Yeah.
Right. Like what is a like if we had like 80s soft nostalgia vibes with EDM festival, like what does that feel like?
Yeah.
Because their kids are like really like, I mean, it's always interesting, even in different parts of the country, like some kids are just more strung up than others. And these kids are like hyper, big, bold, loud, crazy all the time. Even if it's a fairly like small-ish town. Small town's probably not the right word. It's Seminole, Texas, if anybody wants to whip out their geography skills and help us in the chat. Like, how small is the town? But, so they're just like, that's the vibe we want. And so we went down a couple of roads, and I could have shown you guys the previous version.
That's cool.
Yeah, now I'm going to build that.
This is in typical Ash fashion. I will take one thing that you say and then I will expand on that. But I was going to say, this is kind of random too, is the other night. So my son, or our son, he's 12 and he's like kind of like likes EDM kind of music a little bit. And the other day I was driving, I was like, oh my gosh, who is that guy that we used to like his music probably like 10 years ago, and I can't think of his name and I want to show him. And you just reminded me it was Skrillex. So thank you for that. I will show him Skrillex. Yeah, it was so good.
Like that kind of
yeah, exactly.
Bringing back in our acoustic soundboard for everybody.
Oh my gosh. So Tiffany, what's your favorite style of music? Just kidding. Oh man. What are you working on today, Tiffany?
Earlier before our call, I was working on a booklet for a nonprofit for their capital campaign. They have a new campus opening up.
Cool.
So, and then a style guide for a logo for a construction. They're water damage and fire damage restoration. So I'm actually really excited. It's kind of funny because no.
No, because the guy that this is for works at Serve Pro. I was like, this is going to be the
That
craziest coincidence in the universe here. I've
had one of those already this week where a marketing company who I do some contracting with was like, oh, we have this client and here's what they've said about their projects. And we think that they're going to be kind of a retainer client who's going to come back, and we're interested if you want to work on those. And everything they were saying seemed like it was about the biggest nightmare client I've ever had. And I was just like, oh no. But then I remembered later that they said one thing that was not consistent. And I was like, oh, okay, it's not that person, but that would have been awful. So anyway, the construction logo I'm really excited about because I've always wanted, that's kind of a bucket list, a construction company or an architecture firm logo.
Sure.
Because I don't know,
let's play.
Some of them are bad.
Yeah, let's play a game here. Like, wave a magic wand. Are you trying to play like career bingo and like hit a bunch of types of projects, or like, dang, I just love a construction logo. I wish I could do more construction logos. Or like you see what I'm saying? Like if you said, hey Josh, you're rock and rolling like church and youth logos the rest of your life. I'm like, cool, sounds great. But I sense from other people, they're like, I would feel so dead inside if everything I did was the same all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go. Let's do a round robin of absolutely like dream clients, like whether that's an actual like company or church or just like industry based. Like, what is your dream client, Tiffany?
Oh man, you had to make me go first.
I could go first.
If you have thoughts, I have to think about it because I'll regret my answer and I'll be like, no, there was such a better one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No,
it's okay. Anything you say on Making a Mark is locked in stone forever and will not ever change.
Yeah,
so
you can never change.
Make sure
answer.
you really think about what you're going to say.
So mine isn't necessarily a specific brand or anything, but like my dream clients that or my dream projects that I love working on is are like apparel based designs, like for companies. So like obviously like I would love to work with like, I don't know, big brands, whatever. I don't even know, but just like big brands, shirt designs is my favorite. That's my absolute favorite. Or even like for artists, for bands, that type of thing.
All right.
That's my favorite type of work is shirt design.
Hot Topic or like Vans calls you tomorrow and says,
I would die.
Ashley, no, better yet, Roxy calls you tomorrow and says, Ashley, you're creative lead on XYZ department. Are you dropping everything like a bad habit and running to go do that?
I don't know if I would do that. I don't know if I would fully commit to like one. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on what they're offering me. If it was like ridiculous, I'd be like, sure, I'm going for it. But
you hear that, Vans? You'll better have a darn good
you better
offer.
have like
Ashley's
a really good
gonna have
offer.
to think about it.
No, because literally when I first started getting into design when I was a junior in high school, my dream job and my favorite website at the time was Volcom Stone's website. And it wasn't necessarily their merch. Like I've always loved the merch or whatever.
It was
but
the website experience.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but they had like an artist forum where like artists around the world would post their, like, this is before social media and stuff, but they would put up art and Volcom would feature it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to be featured by them one day. That was like my absolute dream. So yes, if Vans called me, I would seriously debate my life choices and maybe go over there.
Can we pour one out for the fallen homie of the old west days of the internet? Back when the internet was young and website layout could not be predicted, like you land somewhere and it's like a discovery experience. Like, okay, how do I get around this website? Where are the links? There's like music playing. There's like a flash intro. You're saying exactly the same thing. Like there is no social media. So all these places are like building their own versions of that stuff on their own website. And like, it was a crazy time. And I think there's a lot of good things to be said about the maturer version of the internet. But boy, that was a fun, crazy time. You get on everybody's MySpace page and it was just like same thing, like a steaming mess, but boy, it was interesting.
It was just the best time. So
best of times, the worst of times.
What are you you're doing another same kind of thing? Flash sheet? This is different.
Yeah, well, this one's for Adam, and I threw in some colors for him. But yeah, usually the flash sheets are just single color. And this is the first step that you guys didn't see on the last project. I'll go like polish up this document.
Yeah.
And then I'm always sending the client this thing. So they've got they don't just have like a pile of logos. Like they have a polished up presentation they could hand somebody and or look at themselves and go like, what did I like out of this? And I'll save that as a PDF form in my nice little clean export folder. And then the next thing I do is I go create a new artboard, and that was what we were just looking at.
Cool.
Adam West Media logos. And then I'll pull all those over and break them into separate artboards and export files that way.
Sure. So Tiffany, what are your tips on, since Josh is kind of finalizing some stuff, and that's what our topic was today, is finalizing projects and getting them approved. Like, what are some of your thoughts or tips on getting projects approved by the client, whether that's like speedily or effectively, like whether that's communication wise or design wise?
Yeah. I think when we first settled on that topic, my thought was really, it's kind of the whole process. I feel like it's building trust with the client from the very beginning.
Preach.
Yeah.
Which I struggle with. I've had a couple meetings this last month where I'm like, man, I did not do a good job of just communicating what my process is. And they need to know that the very first. So everything from like at the beginning of the project, communicating the process and what they're getting from the project, how many concepts, and do they know what a concept is? So I've been trying to like teach some of those things, like what they're getting in the steps, how long each step takes, what their role is, and what my expectation is for them. So I think if you're taking the lead, which I'm not a great leader, I love supporting. I feel like if I am the second person, even I used to work at Starbucks, and I would notice if I was on bar making the drinks, it made me just too nervous. But if I was what they called store support, which is just filtering through the whole store, supporting everybody, like stocking everybody's stuff and getting things for people, I loved that, even though it was just as important.
Yeah.
So I love supporting. I'm not like a natural leader, but in that step of just letting a client know what the project is going to be like from the very beginning. And then as we jump through it, making sure, one of the things that I feel like is really important is making sure to give them enough concepts from the beginning, but not so many that it's debilitating.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, so they have a skin in the game, that the end design is one that they chose. And so by the end, and then I've also experienced, I don't know if you all do this in your business, so tell me how you just kind of business wise deal with this, but there've been some clients who, so I work with some clients who have clients, so like a small agency who has clients, and so I'm their contractor, and so they're the middleman, and
sticky business.
Yeah. There's been times where I've had a project where in the middle, the original client kind of wants a really big, not a revision, a change. Like we're starting from the beginning again, because of something that wasn't communicated or something that they wanted that just wasn't clear at all. And they've priced that differently and kind of not called that a revision, but called that a new design or whatever. I don't know what they have called it, but yeah. So tell me if you guys have experienced that, because really I've only experienced that once, and every other time I've just had an amount of revisions, part of the project, usually 2, and we never go over that, and clients are usually happy by the end. And so I feel like maybe I've been lucky at the end of a project that it's moved forward and people are happy. But I think just being consistent, being trustworthy from the beginning, communicating, and doing quality work no matter what the price point is, even if you're donating the work, like quality, I'm going to give you my best every time. Every concept I give you is going to be one that I would be stoked if you chose.
That's a big one.
I think if you're doing that, I haven't had a lot of problems, but what do you guys do?
No, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just not going to miss a possible opportunity to sing the praises of a good process, because I really do think that is where the beginning of good projects starts, is like, hey, client, like, let's, like some of the things Tiffany was talking about, like, let's get some skin in the game. Let's talk about this ahead of time. Let's know what the end game is in mind. Let's know what the scope is. Like, having those things in place at all really helps somebody not get stalled at that like 70 to 90% mark, for sure.
Yeah. No, I was going to agree with you, Tiffany. Like, I've noticed with clients, if I I like to keep the amount of options I'm giving them to a minimum, no more than like, so say if I'm doing like logos or branding, I do no more than 3 looks for them. Just to kind of, like you said, I like how you said it, get them like skin in the game. So I'll send them all 3 and then I'll say, hey, here 3 totally separate looks. Let me know which of the 3 you like. And then from there, we kind of build on it. Or sometimes they're stoked with round 1 and we just go with that. But another thing I was going to say that like to finalize projects that I've noticed, and I've always done this, is if I'm super positive about a project, and again, this is like all client relations and stuff, but if I'm very like, hey, here's your shirt design. Like I usually always email them and then I say, hey, here's your shirt design. I love how it came out. Please let me know your thoughts. Like super stoked on it.
Yeah.
I notice, most of the times clients will email back being like stoked on it versus if I'm like having like a sour day and I'm like, hey, here's your shirt design. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Usually they can kind of read that and they're like, oh, actually, like, cause I think that coming from like us as designers, if they think that we're stoked on it because of our eye seeing it, they're going to usually be stoked on it as well. And they're hiring you because of that reason,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think, hearing your confidence and something that I've learned, actually the first logo project that I ever had in my freelance business was just a friend of mine. And from the very beginning, we were kind of like, okay, you're my test client. And so like, let me know how the process is going throughout the process. And she gave me feedback at the end, just asking for more of my creative opinion. And she was somebody who I knew had a creative eye, and I'd actually worked with on a creative team before. And I for her to say that she would have liked that, I thought, okay, everybody needs that. Yeah. Everybody needs, and even since then, I haven't done a great job all the time, but I'm kind of trying to grow in that, where if I'm presenting 3 concepts, I might tell them, concept 1, I think, is a little bit more edgy and it's going to appeal to a younger demographic. Concept number 2 is a little bit more bold in color and it's going to look really, really good small, or whatever the pros and cons. So I'm telling them what my designer expertise thinks are the pros and cons of each. And maybe some people don't need that and would love to just form their own opinions without that information. So even sometimes I'll lead that those points with, if you like my opinion, then read further, so that if they just want to see it fresh, they can go and do that quick. And then they can come back and say, okay, what's the designer think? But it should always be that all 3 I would be excited about, but they all have pros and cons.
Yeah. No, I love that. I totally agree.
Your excitement about a project definitely does come through. Like you can smell when somebody's lobbing something over the email fence and be like, yep, I hit my deadline, versus
there you go.
This feels really good to me and I hope that you say yes to this.
Yeah.
And also I think that there's always a healthy element. I'm also realizing that I should have been doing this many, many moons ago, because it's the best way to get me to shut up on the episode is to give me something to do with my hands so I don't just dominate the entire conversation. It's the dream here, guys. No, but I always think of it like the best analogy is like a server or a chef at a restaurant. Like, I'm here to deliver your vision. Like, I'm here to listen. I'm here to help you guys walk through a journey. But if you're like picking something really risky and you strike me as a safe chicken nuggets kind of patron, I'm gonna say that, right?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Like, all right, are you sure you want the ketchup on the waffles? Like, I professionally think that will taste awful.
Right. Yeah.
So if it comes out bad, don't talk to me about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Finding tactful ways to coach but also serve. I think it is a weird dynamic that I thoroughly enjoy, but it is hard for young designers to master that one, because you either want to be in like cranky, pissed off, jaded, like misunderstood artist kind of vibe is where I see people going into, or sir, yes sir to everything.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can't, you gotta be able to like know when to switch gears.
Right. Yeah. Cause I mean, that's the thing. Cause I mean, like, think about it. Like, even like us 3 here on the podcast, we are all, very talented, great designers, but we're not the best in the world, right? There's people who are better than us, but
I would never say that.
You're the best designer in the world. No, but like, is that like, I love what Jared said in the chat. It says service is greater than deliverables.
Yeah.
Like that's so true, because there's
It's a good line.
millions of designers in the world, but if they're not sold on you as a person, like whether that's personality or the way you do things, or the way you communicate, or whatever, they could easily just be like, you know what, I don't like this design, I'm going somewhere else. Or
so that's where
whatever.
you get into like fighting the rat race to the bottom price and getting into commodity based stuff, is when you're not offering anything beyond, the deliverables.
Yeah.
Like, people should have watched your videos and be like, dang, that's sick. I love the way she's thinking about that. I think that's the thing. When everybody talks about like AI taking our jobs and stuff, like how you think should be what people hire you for, not for
your actual skill set.
Yeah. And like how you're approaching stuff, because I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole AI thing. It's a little tired, but
sure.
Yep, that one blew up in the hangar. I'm going to get back to work.
Anyway, I got distracted.
Just ignore all that I just said.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. Well, I'm pumped. I know today is a little bit shorter episode because I know Josh obviously has a lot of work to do, and I actually have to go to a field trip for our son today, so I'm excited for that. But, yeah. But I'm so pumped you were here, Tiffany. Thank you so much for being here. It's awesome.
Thanks for having me. It was so fun to chat.
Utterly delightful. But I know. Actually, I know you are not trying to land this plane.
No, I'm not. I'm just.
Oh yeah, the drawing.
Okay. We had to do the drawing.
She's just laying bricks for the.
Exactly. I'm just putting the feelers out there, being like, "Hey guys, listen, I gotta go soon. I gotta go to a field trip.
Are we? Can we
waving
be done?
the flag." Hey, I gotta go. So but for real, I do gotta go in a few minutes. But I'm really excited, and I have a doodle prompt. If you guys are for
DP?
it, a DP today, if you
Okay.
guys are down. I thought we could do something with moss, since we were talking about moss quite a bit. And
Ashley,
like whatever you want that to be, but like drawing
how the
moss.
heck am I supposed to draw moss with a Sharpie?
Just lean into it, okay? Just sell it with your personality. It's not about the design itself, right?
Yeah, it's service, not
over
deliverable.
deliverable. Yeah.
All right, I got
exactly.
you, fam.
Okay.
All right, so for those of you who want to join us live at home in your home studio, pardon me. Stop it, Siri. Can you try to help me once?
No, she can't.
Tiffany, what we're doing is you got your prompt to go with. You got a Sharpie. You got a piece of paper. Draw fat, and we got 1 minute. Y'all ready?
Yep, ready.
Set, go.
Okay. So, what are you guys drawing over there?
Some sick stuff. I'm gonna own you this week, Ashley, and no putting faces on stuff.
I can't promise.
Oh
that.
no.
No, you can do whatever you want, Tiffany. But Ashley's annual challenge this year is to not put faces on every single one of these things.
Oh.
No, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
That's what she agreed to do.
I did not agree to do no faces.
Bro, it's so wild when you sit down to draw something, how much you realize, like, what does this thing look like? Like, I don't think I know.
Mine doesn't look like moss. It looks kind of like a nugget of something else. But anyway.
Hey.
Wait, is it time? I stopped. Josh, did you stop?
I would never stop.
Are you
I have
cheating?
not stopped.
Wait, what the heck?
Boom. Now it's
You guys said time. I could have had like another 20 seconds.
Tiffany just juked you out. She said,
I totally cheated. I drew for 20 seconds
I'm
longer than
gonna
Ash.
draw ahead of time and then say the word time so Ashley gets thrown off the scent.
Yeah, what the heck?
All right, I'm gonna stop screen share. Everybody share your work in 3, 2, 1. Rise, I appreciate the confidence. I'm feeling great today. Bada boom.
Oh, dang. Tiffany, yours is sick. I love that mushroom.
Dang it. Tiffany definitely
Your moss
wins.
character, though? That's cool.
Moss Man.
Moss Man. Yeah, he definitely looks like a nug, actually.
He does. He totally does.
All right. So we're gonna as you guys in the chat here, like, y'all need to be thinking, Tiffany, like, for sure wins outright. Yeah. But I need to know, between me and Ashley, who won runner up here. So y'all be thinking about, vote down in the comments as we are explaining our designs.
Moss Man.
You go first, Moss Man.
So this is Moss Man. He's
What's coming out the side of his head?
Yeah, what is that?
that's his cape. He's the superhero, Moss Man.
What?
And yeah, he's real nice. He's very moist. He's not dried out yet. He's like really
Moist
fresh.
boy.
Yeah, but he looks a little bit like a nugget or something else.
He looks
but
like
you know
he
what?
looks like Meatball from
Yeah.
what's it called? What's that? I've never watched that show, but
No
I was
idea.
gonna say Hamburger Helper, but that's a food, not a TV show.
No, that's the hand guy.
Meatball, Hunger Force, Team Squad, Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Wait, huh?
There you go.
Not
Anyway.
familiar. I don't know. Anyway,
it's one of those
Moss
adult
Man for the
cartoons
win.
you said you hate.
No, I don't like those because then my kids always try to go watch them, and then I'm like, you can't watch this. This is terrible, and they're
Ashley,
always
it's
very
not for
dirty.
you. It's not
It's
for
not.
you, and some
It's
of them
not
are
for me.
not that dirty. Some of them are not that dirty. Like
I
you
don't
got
know.
there are clean ones that are just weird. They're not inappropriate. All right, listen.
Yeah.
So either way, I'm about to bury you with this next level thinking here.
It's a moss.
So for the
Is it not?
podcast listeners, it is a moth because I said, how am I supposed to draw moss? That's like a bunch of little squiggly lines.
Yeah.
That's not going to look good. So I'm going to call, I can't hear you very well. And I thought you said moth.
Oh,
so that's
so
what
you
we're
should
rolling
have
with.
played it as it's a moth made of moss. It's a moth or moth.
It's a moth.
A moss. Yeah.
All right, Tiffany, your turn. Show the class your work.
Sorry.
It's just a great drawing
camera.
of moss.
I love
Yeah,
that little
little-
mushroom. That's
little
so
rock.
cute.
That mushroom is bomb.
It's so
Those-
cute.
The cloud and the sun probably don't count because they were during my cheat time at the end.
It's okay.
Um,
They really didn't add too much to the
No, they
situation.
didn't. Not at all. Yeah, so kind
Oh,
of
I
90s
love,
vibes with the mushroom.
I love it. I literally drew a mushroom yesterday that I posted on
Nice.
Instagram. So I love mushrooms. They're so cute.
It was one of my
Alright.
go-to sketches when I was in high school. Just
Yeah.
sketching a bunch of random stuff all the time, writing song lyrics down notebooks.
I love
we
it.
all used to be so moody.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, get in my feels, draw some lyrics in a picture with it. Yep, been there, done that. All right, nobody voted, so Josh wins. That's perfect. Great episode for
Yeah,
today, guys.
right. Andy
Um,
Andy said Mossman versus Mothman. Say that.
That's
3
my
times fast.
husband, Andy Kelly. So,
Oh,
There you
welcome
go.
aboard.
Did he
And Andy
choose
got
any-
me on the
I would-
Aqua Teen Hunger Force too.
yeah, of course. I knew he would be reeling down there that you didn't know the name of that.
It's all right. That's one I've watched a lot of Adult Swim stuff. That is one of them that I never jumped into and like really kept up with. But yeah, guys, it's been a great episode. Thanks again, Tiffany. We'll have
Yeah, it's been fun.
links for her stuff down in the show notes so you can book her solid and have her gallivanting all across the universe to do your spatial branding experiences.
Yeah, heck yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you for being here, Tiffany. It's awesome to meet you in virtual person. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank
Until
you.
next week,
good weekend.
adios, amigos.
All right, see ya.
Bye.